It's always somebody else's fault, right, Harbin?
It ain't my fault.
Always.
It definitely ain't mine. If anything, it's Eric Neese's
How's it Eric Neese's fault?
because I don't have a sticker on that microphone.
Well, we proved that curse is real over the weekend with the stickers were handed out in droves there in the parking lot pregame, and the Vols won by 3 touchdowns. So we'd said it last week.
I had a sticker on, baby.
We all had stickers on, except Day Day. I didn't bring Day Day one. I need to get him.
I'm not sure that Harb ever had a sticker on for longer than 10 minutes. He had the wrong material, hat and shirt.
Wow, that's a
was
lie.
hilarious.
Hang on.
So
Hey,
that thing came off left and right.
Hey, these stickers will not be removed for the remainder of the season.
So I had the JWTDG sticker on.
I did too, yeah.
And then I put a YY8 sticker on, got into the stadium, it was gone. Put another one on because I had like 20 in my pocket. I looked down, it's gone. And then the people in front of me and Big Montana leave, and I look down and it's plastered to the bleacher in front of us. So
I've seen that Snapchat.
I was like, it was unintentional marketing.
Oh yeah, there he is.
It was on the bottom of my shoe, to be honest with you. And I looked down and I tried to scrape it off, and it got plastered on.
Oh, good.
In front of us. So
it'll be there until they pressure wash the stadium next spring or summer or whenever they do that. Did anybody else lose their voice like I did yesterday? I couldn't hardly talk all day long. I'm
hoarse. I had to coach baseball today and couldn't hardly coach third base. I was hindered out there.
Hindered.
Unbelievable.
I was compromised as a coach today, 100%.
I feel like I've been hit by a truck. I stood up yesterday from 7 a.m. until freaking 1 a.m. from youth football to that. I'm tired.
Me and Harb ended up going to Armstrong's till 4 o'clock.
Oh gosh.
You talk about hurting. I was up this morning and at Holston Ballpark coaching baseball at 9:30 this morning. Imagine how I felt.
Well, you ain't got to share everything, you know. But I went to work this morning and worked for 9 hours. So like Brett said, we got in late and I set my alarm early. I was going to watch a little bit of the Ryder Cup before I went to work. And my alarm went off after what was essentially a nap, and I was like, I'll just watch it when I get to work.
Y'all dropped me off last night, and I said, I'm going to sit here for a second, and I'm going to run and grab me something to eat somewhere because I was starving. I never got off the couch. I was out. I woke up about 3:30 this morning.
I left your house, and I tried to go to Straw Plains. McDonald's was to the road.
It always is.
And Wendy's was to the road. So I said, you know what? It sounded like a little field trip to Blaine, Tennessee, the new Taco Bell. It was 1:10. It was closed. Then I called the buy low. I'm going to go up here and get me a good fur burger. And they were closed, the deli. So I ended up settling for queso dip and Tostitos that I bought at the buy low. So it was
the Straw Plains exit after a night game is a nightmare trying to find fast food.
Yeah, because everybody going east back to Bristol, Morristown, Jeff City, they're all stopping at
I think it was 2 years ago. I couldn't find nothing at Straw Plains, and then I went over to John Sevier, and everything was closed over there for some reason. So, yeah, it was
I would imagine Buc-ee's on a game night's probably ridiculous.
That's a good point. Like
I haven't been up there, but I would think
we're not that far from. Well, I'm not from Buc-ee's. Big Montana, and Day Day's a little bit away, but a 10-minute drive, I could be at Buc-ee's at midnight.
Buc-ee's food is incredible.
I'm about 17 to 20 from Buc-ee's.
No, you're not far. You also got a big Pilot Travel Center not far from you too, there on 81. So, I mean, I do. I've got one here too, but I don't ever think about going to Pilot at 12 o'clock and getting a hot dog. It's been on the roller for 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
For those that are listening that haven't figured out who's on here yet, I'm Negative Niece. My throat hurts. I got a little bit of cup of tea, a little warm tea here. I need a blue towel around my neck like John Ward, but we've got Big Montana, we got Day Vol, we got Harb, the full crew's here. Special guest this week, Brett Stanton's making a return to the show. So last minute addition. So we'll get right into it. I don't care who goes, but we gave Beamer and Rattler a little dose of revenge last night in Neyland Stadium. What do y'all think about the Vols sitting at 4-1 going into a bye week after a 3-touchdown win? By the way, we dropped in the polls. Not that it matters, but we win by 3 touchdowns and drop a spot. So unbelievable. But what do we think? How are we feeling about the Vols after last night?
Day, go ahead.
Yeah.
I don't know. Not much changed. I mean, they're still inconsistent. They look more physical last night, that's for sure. They pushed South Carolina around, but other teams have as well. I'm with Bolin. I'm not like stressing over Joe. Let him do what he's got to do. Lean on those running backs. They're going to make your season go where it goes. Just hit the deep ball every now and again, and have your tight end actually, catch a ball instead of drop it and fall down and false start. But other than that, I mean, there's no complaints last night. They took care of business and had some miscues. You lost a huge piece. How do you replace that? I don't know. You don't. I mean, you don't replace that guy. He does everything. But overall, it was a good game. It was an A game for him.
Day, what'd you think about the guy about 2 or 3 rows in front of us last night?
I thought you were going to ask him for his number. To be honest.
Yeah,
he had energy
was,
too. He brought it.
I'll put it on. I'll put it on the video version. But he flipped off South Carolina's fans, banned probably. One. What do you think? What was the over under 50, 60 times last night?
It was a lot. He'd point at him. I hate you.
Yeah, I hate you. And then every time we had a third down, he would do this right here, and then he'd point. So then I started doing it, and then the little girls in front of us started doing it. So I've got a new third down.
I will say,
I don't know what that
is. Best night of third down defense in a long time. So maybe he needs to be right there the rest of the year.
Yeah, Tennessee was excellent on third down and fourth down. And I thought the defensive line, I'll get my points out of the way real quick. I thought our defensive line just lived in the backfield. I know South Carolina's offensive line isn't very good, but still, that's what we talked about last week, Harb and Day and Big Montana, was Tennessee needed to live in the backfield and pressure Rattler, and that's what they did.
Yeah, what do we have? Six sacks, 8 tackles for losses. So
so.
Defensive line played really well, I thought. But like Day said, I thought it was a very kind of inconsistent, clean win. We ran the ball. I mean, Jalen Wright had 16 carries for 123 yards. My man Sampson had 9 carries for 49 yards, but he also made that screen pass. He had 2 catches for like 40 yards, something like that. But I thought overall we played well. I thought special teams was very clean. So Jackson Ross, he averaged like 50 yards, 3 punts. And do that, you're only flipping the field position.
Well, that's what you look at Sampson, he has become a breakout star this year for this offense. And he's not, you look back, he was just a 3-star recruit, and that's what idiots like Vols picks don't understand. All he wants to talk about is Tennessee didn't get a 5-star, their class is only rated 12th, but it's all about getting the right players in your system. I mean, the best year Rick Barnes in Tennessee had was with a bunch of either 0 stars or 2 stars that year. So it's not necessarily all the time about the stars. Now, most of the time it is, but You don't necessarily have to have all 5 stars, but Harb, what was your thoughts on you were tweeting from the account last night. What do you think about the Vols?
I thought we looked good for the most part. Kind of like Day said, we still look slightly inconsistent, which is fine. But we came out and we did what we needed to do. Last week I said we needed to bare minimum cover to feel good going forward. We won by 3 touchdowns against a conference opponent not named Vanderbilt. I mean, you really can't ask for much more going forward. And it was just nice to bounce back, which I know we played UTSA, but like kind of build off of that momentum after UTSA, after what we did in Gainesville. But I thought the run game looked great. Kind of talked my shit about Cooper Mays last week, but he definitely made an impact, and I knew he would. I was just a little frustrated with his situation.
I think he heard the podcast last week.
Had to.
I think
Took
it
it
was
to heart.
I mean, listen, Shaw Plains and where's Catholic at? Is that Middlebrook?
Peter Bluff.
Or
West Knoxville.
Yeah, it's not that far away. You probably heard it.
Yeah,
But-
our podcast station goes about to West Knoxville, and then it starts getting fuzzy and cutting out.
But I mean, I've been calling it for months. And I'm gonna clip it from our season preview show during our little break, and I'll put it on the Twitter account. During the preview show when we got to South Carolina, I said, put your grandmother's ring that you're gonna give to your girlfriend on her wedding night, put your car, put your mortgage, deed to your house, whatever you need to put on it. Whatever the line they're gonna put it on Tennessee tonight or Saturday night. And what do? We came out and we took care of business, and we pretty much dominated. I mean, there were some points where we made some bad decisions on both sides of the ball, and I mean, it is what it is. But all in all, we won by 3 touchdowns. We got some great momentum heading into the bye week and then into A&M.
Big Montana, I said this in the stadium last night, sitting next to you. South Carolina, it really should have been worse than 41-20. We kind of let them hang around with some just little mistakes we made. The letting them execute the fake punt, the interception over the middle that turned into 7. I don't know if we would have necessarily scored on that interception Milton threw in the end or near the end zone, but we were definitely in scoring position. But they really only had 3 plays all night: the fake toss sweep, the screen play for 40-something yards, the fake punt, and then the long touchdown run. That was it. I mean, from our standpoint, we didn't let them do anything last night.
I was fairly impressed with the Vols last night. Like Harb said, you beat a SEC caliber team that they played Georgia well 2 weeks ago by 3 touchdowns. And to be honest with you, we probably left 14, maybe 17, 21 points off the scoreboard last night. Obviously, the pick 6 was, or the punt that we returned. They got called back. That was one that it was just a dumb mistake. But I think the one thing that I'm impressed with, or not worried about, is that every week we continue to get better, and we seem to fix the smaller things, and then things just work out. Besides the Florida game, but we all know that Florida game is just a mental block. We talked about it last week. There was Peyton Manning teams that went down there that should have won by 2 touchdowns that got beat over just tomfoolery. But I was impressed with him. I think Milton is what Milton is. I think he's good enough to play with everybody we have left. Don't think he's a hooker or, whatever. But I think he's going to have us in ball games. And if our defense can get 4 or 5 stops, like they did last night on 3rd down, 4th and 1, whatever, I think we're going to be in every ball game this year and have a chance to win.
I was looking too. I'm trying to find it. I I don't think we had many penalties last night. We had a few, but I'm having
Milton's
trouble
not-
locating it.
Milton's not really getting sacked. He's not fumbling, and he's got what? How many picks this year? One?
3.
One.
He had
Or was
two last night,
Yeah,
and he had one at
two last
Florida.
night. Yep.
Okay.
Why can I not remember the second pick?
I can't either.
The second one
Is the-
was on the 1 yard line that set up that
Yeah.
that we
Near
ran in
safety.
and called back.
Yeah, it didn't hurt us,
Okay.
but we could have got a field goal.
It was basically a punt for the most part.
You could say he made the right decision on that throw. He just didn't execute it. But
I just couldn't remember that.
yeah, the first interception, he literally never saw the
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
bad.
pretty
a
much
bad one.
3 deep safeties on that one.
That was bad. That was a bad read right there.
Yeah.
As long as he's not giving up costly interceptions, pick sixes, I think we're going to be fine. I mean, I think he's showed in the last 2 weeks how athletic he is. Squirrel White's open every play. I mean,
Yeah.
he honestly is. And I want to see them every drive, everyone 40 yards, and let him run underneath it, just see what happens. I love that we run the ball last night. That one drive was just a statement. It resulted in 6. We just ran it down their throats. I love that. But Tennessee has got to quit. Whenever they have the opportunity to go up 3 quarters or 4 quarters, they got to do it. That crap last night with that first play after we scored, they ran a 70-yard touchdown at the middle with no effort at all. I just gave them hope, just a little bit of blood pressure, man. And you can't let good teams do that. And that'll come back and bite you. But, when we say that, last year in that Bama game, how much were we up in that game and Bama crept right back in it? So there's a lot of similarities between these two teams. And a lot of it has to do with, our depth and our youth and stuff like that. I'm really excited to see what the next 2 years are going to detail. I've heard other podcasts the last couple of weeks. Oh, Heupel, hopefully it's hitting like Gene Chizik and all that crap. Well, I don't think that's the case. But
If he is, you get a natty out of it. So
that's
Yeah.
what I said too.
Well, I tweeted, I guess it was Friday night. A game like Saturday was a game Tennessee, if they're going to be a program that wants to advance to that next tier and stay there where I think we're at, they got to win games like last night. And not only did we win last night, we did it emphatically, I think. But I think having Cooper Mays back was a big difference last night. Just the way the offense moves, because Tennessee, when they're clicking on offense, they're hitting with the run. They'll hit you run, short pass, and they get the teams on their heels, and then boom, they hit you deep for a big play. And that's what they did several times last night, whether it was run or pass. They hit South Carolina with some big plays several times. We haven't seen that this year much at all out of the offense, but overall, that was the best game we've played all year.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And our athletes made plays last night. The punt return, athletic play, the pick six, who was Haddon, who had been just absolutely been getting crucified. He made a play right before the half, which was just demoralizing to South Carolina. Squirrel White, the deep balls, the running backs putting the foot in the ground, cutting up field. The athletes are showing up now. And
James Pierce Jr.
Yes.
Good gosh.
Boys, if you beat a team by 17 points or more, you whip their ass. This is SEC football. That's a big score difference. The line was 11.5. I know that's just gambling and stuff or whatever, or 12.5, whatever it was. But we whipped their ass. And, we sat there with the battered ball syndrome or whatever. And oh no, they're going to come back. But Tennessee owned that game from halfway through the first quarter on.
I never, once we went back, when it got 10-7 South Carolina, and then we came right back down the field and answered, I never really felt nervous about the game. I just felt like you could see eyeball that we were the better football team last night.
Yeah.
Well, the MVP of the game as a unit, in my opinion, was the front seven.
Yeah.
Which you can say what you want about South Carolina's offensive line, which is not very good, and I believe it was banged up. But I mean, we wreaked havoc. Outside of probably, I'll say 3 run plays, we stuffed their run right up the middle. Like didn't let them get anything. Obviously, they broke up that long one. They had a couple ones where they squirted out and got a first down, but we got back there. We got pressure on Rattler. We held him to I don't know the exact number. It was like 155 passing yards. He didn't throw a touchdown pass. Obviously, threw the pick six. The front seven was huge. They stepped up. It was good to see, and it was huge. And if they can play like that going forward, I've got high hopes about the rest of the season.
Tennessee's sorry, I was looking something up. Tennessee's wide receiver depth will be tested now after the nasty Brew McCoy injury that happened last night. That excuse me, that was, we could all see it if you were in the stadium. We noticed it right out of the gate. Like, he was laying flat of his back, both of his legs were straight, and his right leg or right foot was pointed back toward us. That made me absolutely sick seeing that. I hate when that happens to any athlete. It would have made me sick if it happened to a South Carolina player, but I think he ended up having surgery today, and he'll obviously be out for the season. I think he's got eligibility to come back next year, so we'll have to wait and see.
He has a COVID year. I mean, I don't know what advice they give to him. NFL's probably going to tell him go back and play.
Yeah,
he's put enough on tape, but they want to see you move after something like that. Honestly,
I was going to say it's not the tape; it's the can he still go type thing.
Mm-hmm.
He was that gave an opportunity for some younger guys to get in. McAllen Castles, Chaz Nimrod. We had to look Chaz Nimrod up. We didn't know who number 81 was. And I looked him up just now. He's a freshman from Bentonville, Arkansas, home of Walmart.
My God.
Wait, he's a freshman?
It's what his profile says on utsports.com. Redshirt freshman.
Okay,
wide receiver from Bentonville, Arkansas.
When your quarterback can throw it 70 yards, try underneath it, put your hands up. You just might catch
it. That catch that Squirrel White made last night was incredible. I don't know how he saw the football to catch it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he just got lucky and it hit him in the stomach or what, but and they didn't throw a flag. I wondered if they would have thrown a flag if he didn't catch the football.
Right.
Because you do see that a lot in football. If they wait and see if they made the catch, because what's the point of throwing a flag if he made the catch? But
you have replay. They can overturn stuff. You got to throw the flag.
Oh, true. And it was clearly pass interference.
Absolutely.
I mean, he had him by the throat and the hand and
never located the ball.
He was flailing all over the place. How in the world Squirrel White caught that, I don't know. It was incredible.
Squirrel had an excellent game, I felt like.
Oh, yeah. He went over 100.
I mean, Tennessee's still fine at receiver. I mean, Brew McCoy is one of those guys that's going to catch your tough third down, like third and 8. You got to get 10 yards type of guy. He's a big physical body. He's going to be good in run blocking, but I mean, they're going to miss that. But they got Ramel Keaton, Dylan Sampson can play wide receiver, Squirrel White, and all these. I mean, I think they're okay.
Where's Thornton?
I don't know. He wasn't out there at all last night.
Hamstring? This is what
he was out.
That's right. Okay. He was injured last week on that play where he caught it with one knee on the ground, apparently.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that.
Step up. That's who we need to step up.
He's got some time to heal up and
I think the bye week is coming at probably the best time because we've got a lot of guys, a lot of offensive linemen banged up. To have this next week off before A&M comes to town. And I think, Harb, we talked about this when we did the preview show. A&M's got Bama this weekend. And normally teams don't fare very well the next week after playing Bama or Georgia.
I will
Oh,
say
yeah.
this. I will say this too. You're talking about being, I forgot what you said about wide receiver not having enough players. I think that's the best, position to have freshmen at if you're going to have freshmen playing. You don't want a freshman offensive line. You really don't want a freshman QB. At some point, schoolyard football can take over at wide receiver and just get open. You know what I mean? And they run the routes the way they want to run the routes. It's not like being a safety or a corner. At the end of the day, go out there and make a play.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Harbin.
No, I was just going back to what you were saying about A&M, kind of leading into that. Historically, teams don't fare well after playing against Alabama, and especially with their starting quarterback going down. It's going to be interesting to see how they fare and how their offense works. And but also, their backup quarterback was their starter for the majority of the year last year. So if your starter is going to go down, hypothetically, you're really not in the best, or you're not in the worst situation possible. It's a guy that has a lot of experience and more experience than 99% of most backups. So we'll see. Max Johnson's not bad. They've obviously got talent, but we'll see how they fare this week, and hopefully we can get it done and keep it rolling next week.
Yeah, I said a couple weeks ago, these next two games are crucial for Tennessee to go to win last night, to win next in 2 weeks, and be 5-1 going to Bama. Bama looks like they've kind of figured some things out a little bit. They're playing pretty well right now. So, I mean, this next, I don't want to say it's a must win, but Tennessee really needs to win this game. And it's like I said, too, all of our goals are still out there. I mean, will it happen? Probably not, but you never know. I mean, this conference is wide open right now. Tennessee just JWTDG, Harbin, just win the damn game and move on to the next one.
Just win the damn game. That's all it is. There's nobody in the SEC this year that looks dominant.
No, I mean, you look at LSU yesterday. They lost again. So they're definitely out of probably the national title picture, and a lot of people had them in the playoffs. Georgia's winning, but they're not blowing people out. They're having to scrape by.
Like
Alabama's
Georgia
Florida
did some like weird winning last year, where they kind of looked like they were checked out. This year they don't look checked out, and they're struggling a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, they gave up 220 rushing yards to Auburn. And Auburn
who can't run the ball.
Well,
They
definitely can't throw it. And I would say they're better at running the ball than throwing it. But if you can run for 220 and the other team that supposedly has a great defense knows you're not going to throw the ball, that probably arises some issues. I mean,
are we not going to mention Florida taking it on the chin?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I don't know about that.
You got Kentucky's undefeated right now, but we needed Kentucky to beat Florida last night for us to
that was good.
Get to what we want. But Kentucky's going to be tough coming up. You've got A&M's going to be tough in a couple weeks. I mean, there's a lot of tough football. Missouri's ranked now; they're still undefeated. I think who's Missouri got?
Here's the thing with Missouri and Kentucky. Kentucky goes to Georgia, or they play Georgia. Missouri gets an angry LSU. And then they play each other. So one of those two teams is going to be washed out right there.
Yeah.
Within 2 weeks here. And if Kentucky loses to LSU or Georgia, they're going to do their 3-game losing streak like they always do after they've had that big high of MAC wins and a Vandy win.
That's the thing about both Missouri and Kentucky. They ain't really played anybody. I mean, you could say Missouri it was a nice win against Memphis State. They're not a bad football program, but I mean, Tennessee just needs, literally, we say that, everybody says that, just take it game by game. You can't look ahead right now, but Tennessee can go out there and beat Texas A&M. They're 5-1. So that really quickly, that atmosphere yesterday, not just at the game, but on campus. Harbin and Brett, you wandered around campus from Calhoun's. Was that not one of the better game day atmospheres we've had at UT in a while?
Man,
It was great.
it was crowd everywhere.
I mean,
It
that was one
it
of
was
the
great.
most packed parking lots there in C8, not just at our tailgate, but everywhere that I've seen in a while.
We which to be fair, we got a little spoiled last year because the Alabama game was great, the Florida game was great, the Kentucky game was great. You know, you can go on, but like kind of like level headed looking at it, like place was awesome yesterday. Like, I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. You give Knoxville just the smallest ounce of, hey, we might be worth a damn. We're gonna pack it out and we're gonna be loud, and especially for a night game. Like, you can't beat Neyland at night. I know I'm biased, but it's true. Like, it was rocking in there last night. And when we got that pick six right before the half, that is legitimately one of the loudest I've heard that building. You know, it was awesome. And you put out at least a semi-winning product, you're going to get that week in and week out there.
The only other time I've heard it louder after a specific play than that pick last night was the 2000. What was Butch Jones' first year, Davey? 2013.
Yeah.
Yes. So remember the block punt against Georgia?
Yeah, that was pretty electric in there.
That was the wild, and I was in the box that game, and I mean, you could just feel the stadium shaking that day on that play. Go look it up. I'm sure it's out there somewhere to find. The block punt against Georgia. That was the game we lost in overtime when Pig Howard tried to extend the ball out and it slipped out of his hand about an inch before the goal line. But that was probably the loudest. Maybe the Arkansas 98 game after the.
Yep, that's what I was going to say.
Really, it was after there was a blocked field goal in that game that Al Wilson returned, and that place went crazy. But that pick last night, it got really loud in there, and it was. I said it, I tweeted it or texted y'all. I was laser focused on the Cox all week. And I'm in it. Like, seriously, it's all I could think about at work and doing everything else.
Same as always.
I wanted South Carolina. I wanted blood spilled on the field. And it happened, and we got it.
Not to backtrack real quick, but still the loudest, like, middle of the game play, not like final seconds or anything, but loudest game play I've ever heard was when Jennings caught that ball against Florida in 2016.
That was pretty loud. You're right.
That's number one that I've personally heard. That place erupted for that. But yeah, it got loud last night, and it's gonna get loud the rest of the season.
What time do you think that A&M game will be? I think it'll be 3:30.
3:34.
I was looking at the schedule. There's only 6 SEC games that day. I think there'll be I can't remember who's playing that day. There's a game that'll be at night, but you got like Florida and South Carolina play that day. That'll probably be a noon game.
I want the night game.
Yeah.
It's probably.
I definitely want a night game.
But that's what I want.
I want a night game. I'm guessing it'll be the CBS game, but
you can't compare to Neyland at night.
No, it would be. I mean, they don't, because they'll announce it on Monday, but it would be cool if they could wait and see what A&M does against Bama. It'll be. I mean, if Bama or if A&M comes in here, they would be 5-1. We're 4-1. That's a huge game in the conference.
Mm-hmm. So that week, we're probably the best matchup. I'm looking at it right now.
Tell us who we got that week, Harbin.
You have the Georgia Bulldogs going to Nashville to play Vandy.
Oh, that's definitely game day written all over it.
Yeah. And then you have Arkansas going to Tuscaloosa to take on Bama. And then the other game that is probably going to be the one to like rival our game will be Missouri going to Kentucky, depending on what they do this upcoming week. And then it's us and A&M. Then Auburn is at LSU, which that could get interesting. And Florida at South Carolina.
I bet Auburn LSU will be a night game.
Probably.
Is it at LSU?
Yes.
Because they were at Auburn last year. Yes.
I mean, there'll probably be 2 night games out of that bunch.
Because they'll have a noon, a 3:30, a 4, couple 7 o'clock games. Maybe 2 noon games. I don't know how they do that. So
I highly doubt our game will be a noon game.
I can't imagine it will be.
But
I'm not gonna lie, I
it was
don't hate
noon
it
game last year when we
because we
played out
perform really well at noon.
And think too, A&M would be on 11 o'clock kickoff time if we played them at noon.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Yep.
We only got like a minute left, so let's take an intermission. Harbin, get your. What were you gonna get? Some kind of clip?
Oh yeah. I'll clip it and I'll.
What was it? I can't remember.
I'm gonna clip up the clip of me.
Oh, when you
taking
said.
stuff.
Oh yeah, or whatever. You don't have to do that.
A wonderful atmosphere yesterday, but one rule needs to be added in there at C8. At a 7:30 game, you shouldn't be allowed to come in the damn parking lot with your vehicle after 6.
That was ridiculous.
Good grief.
That was bullshit.
Especially if you have an SUV.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or a very expensive Mercedes Benz.
Yeah.
That was wild. I mean, for those that weren't there, we had people. I mean, it was packed, jammed, shoulder to shoulder, and people were driving in, trying to park. That was crazy. And it was people were trying to be nice and help them park, but I mean, it's like, what do you do at that point?
The problem is you got 19 drunk people standing around telling somebody how to turn their car.
Like my granddad. My granddad trying to tell us how to back up the tractor back in the day on the farm. He's back there spinning his arm around.
Yeah, you got that one vehicle that came in and that old guy tried to hop out and that lady gassed it.
Oh, yeah.
Dumped him out.
Unbelievable, Harbin.
Unbelievable.
And I'm glad you were there for a picture finally.
Yeah, thank God. Finally made it.
So it was great night for the Vols, but overall for the Gamecocks, it was a terrible night. Did you guys see the picture of the guy that got arrested and his britches were down to the ground? You could see his underwear. Brett, you haven't seen this?
No.
I'll put it on the video part. Let me see if I can find it here because I'm pretty sure I sent it to some people today. Let's see if you can see that on the screen. That guy was arrested last night in Neyland Stadium.
Somebody's papaw knees.
I think I know that guy.
Be damn.
Was he at Armstrong's Friday night?
He ate him a bag of bull peanuts on the way to the game. I guarantee that shit.
Oh, class. There was the guy, remember Big Montana, the dudes down in front of us that the blue security shirts were yanking out toward the end of the game, and then some Tennessee fans tried to follow him, were flipping birds. Emotions were running high there at the end of the game.
If you take that picture and start looking at the crowd, like the people that have their cameras out and like their facial reactions, that's better than the picture itself. It's hysterical.
And then my poor old aunt, bless her heart, she big South Carolina fan. She roots for the Vols when we're not playing, but I knew bless her heart. When I saw her in the parking lot walking by herself, I was like, oh God, my uncle is letting her have it.
Yes.
Because that's like the 2 games he wants to win. If we played Clemson in the Orange Bowl last year, that was a huge win for him, being over there in South Carolina and then beating South Carolina's, because he has several in his office that are South Carolina fans. So he'll have bragging rights after that debacle last November. He'll have bragging rights. We don't play him next year. I don't know when we'll play him again. So what a way to go out.
Where on the street is Eric had to sleep on the luggage caddy in the Holiday Inn Express last night at Strawberry Lanes.
I bet him and his buddy Tony just slept out in the lobby on the couch.
I think the funniest thing is we're probably never going to play Shane Beamer again.
Is that funny or sad?
It's sad. I mean, I'd love to play him again,
That
but
guy, what is
it will
that
be funny
dude?
seeing him get canned after Rattler's gone.
That guy's so weird. Like just his
Yeah.
mannerisms and how he talks and the things he says. He's just a weirdo.
I like
Did you
his
see-
dad.
Yeah, I like Frank Beamer. Did you see the
Yeah.
picture of Shane Beamer? So they did his coaching show like after the game last night, and they recorded it in an empty Neyland Stadium. And him and I guess the voice of the Gamecocks are just standing there in the north end zone, and just the look on his face, he's just like, God, I don't want to be here. Get me out of here. It was just great. I can't stand Shane Beamer. I guess he's one of those guys you probably like to play for him if you're with him, but if you don't, you're like, what a weirdo.
The funny thing last night was when he was begging for that penalty, when it was like fourth and or whatever, or third and whatever, and he was bitching about them not throwing the flag, and they threw it. And then he was like, and then he declined it.
Yeah. That was the delay of game right before the field goal.
Yeah.
And then they pushed him back, and then he declined it after they moved him back and pushed him
Right.
forward.
Right. What an idiot.
I watched the replay this morning. I guess he was trying to freeze the kicker. I don't know, is what they thought, but
Boys, we need to talk about something big. We didn't even talk about it yet. This is actually massive for the program and for the podcast.
okay.
What we got?
And a big shout out and congratulations to the Tennessee athletic program and specifically the football program and to you guys. Tennessee won the Super Bowl Saturday night.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I've never seen us win a championship in person until last night.
Yeah.
We're not just champions of life anymore, boys.
What a butt hurt little baby.
That was the big profound statement of all time.
Yeah.
Make South Carolina relevant. And I'm fine with that. But come on, dog. You really think we give that much of a shit about South Carolina? Oh.
I absolutely despise that. He's a good player. He made some decent plays with his legs Saturday when they needed a big play, but man, I dislike that guy. Yeah, that comment's ridiculous.
If you go back and watch, of course, he was a high school player then, but I don't think he's changed much. If you go back on Netflix and watch QB1, it's like him and Fromm and a couple of other like of the Elite 11 guys. There's like 4 guys. He's just a complete and total douchebag.
Yeah.
Like you could just see he's just a cancer to a football team. I mean, there was one scene in the series where his dad's going to buy like a new Jeep or something, and like he gets in like a Dodge Hellcat and like or something, and he's like, "Dad, this is the one I want." And his dad's like, "Yeah, you're crazy. Get out of there. Let's go." And he like throws the biggest fit, like it's like MTV's My Super Sweet 16 or something, and I'm like, God, like this is just doing nothing for this guy's like recruitment or anything.
No, it didn't hinder his recruitment, but that show was excellent. It was kind of cool. It was cool following a lot of those guys, and you found yourself kind of rooting for them in college. Right. Everybody except for him, man.
Well, it wasn't Hartman on that show? Wasn't he at like a Myrtle Beach high school or something?
I can't say for sure. I don't remember that.
The only year I watched was the first one with Fromm and was he on that one? Was Fromm? He wasn't on. Rattler wasn't on that one, was he?
I don't think so.
He was on the next season.
Yeah.
I'm 80% sure that Hartman was at some school in Myrtle Beach, some high school.
Possibly.
And then he went to Georgia Tech. Is that right? And then went to Notre Dame.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And what's funny is he looked like a baby in that show, but now he looks like a 10-year veteran NFL quarterback, like face and everything.
So I have before we move on to haters and losers of the week, I have a recruiting insights that I was given over the weekend. The source wished to remain anonymous because their source is anonymous. But the source I have is getting info from their source says they're hearing reports that Tennessee is going to trump Georgia's $200,000 NIL deal with a $500,000 NIL deal for a player. Let me get back to his profile here, named Natarian Tuggle. He is a wide receiver, 6'1", 190 out of Napanee, Indiana, class of 24. He's a 4-star wide receiver, number 90. Let's see, number 74 overall. Number 13 in the wide receiver class, number 2 player in the state of Indiana. So we'll see if this comes true. But if so, that would be interesting from the NIL standpoint from Tennessee, outbidding the Dogs and Kirby Smart for a 4-star wide receiver. It looks like he's committed to Georgia currently. He has, just off the top here, offers from Akron, Auburn, Central Michigan, Cincinnati, obviously Tennessee, Florida, Miami, Michigan State. I mean, you name it, they're on this list. Power 5, Ohio State, but doesn't look like he's even had a visit. Well, no offer from Ohio State. I'm sorry. Wisconsin has offered him. A&M. So we'll see. Be interesting to see. Oregon, Ole Miss, Minnesota.
How the times have changed. Now they can announce how much money they're having to bid on a kid. Didn't you know they were doing that 10 years ago?
Oh,
but
yeah.
now it's like public knowledge.
Yeah. Crazy. Well, we'll see. We'll keep our eye on that one. We'll definitely keep our eye on that one. Who wants to go first? Hater and loser of the week.
Well, who won last week?
That is a good point, Harb. We had our first ever tie between myself and Big Montana. I picked
Did you vote for yourself?
I don't think I even voted at all.
I don't think I did either. I'm ashamed of myself.
I voted for me, and I came in a third.
Actually, I apologize. I did. I voted for Bart Scott because that was pretty low what he said.
Only 2 voted for that one.
Yeah. So Harbin took Bart Scott, Big Montana. Who did you take? I've already forgotten. Brian Day, and I took Deion Sanders. So we had co-winners this week, Harbin.
Nice.
But there was only 17 votes, so
I'll go last because mine's going to spark up some heated
Ooh,
discussion.
I like it. I like it.
We'll let Harbin and Bowling go last because theirs will probably be long-winded. I'll go ahead. Go ahead, Brett.
I'll go first because I'm kind of struggling for one anyway. So I don't know that I'm really going to have a good one. We kind of already hit on it. Mine's going to be Spencer Rattler. That comment was
that's a good one.
Chicken shit, in my opinion. I'm not a Spencer Rattler fan. What was the name of that show, Bowling? Was it QB1?
QB1.
Okay. Yeah, I've disliked that guy ever since. I wanted to kick his ass last year, and he put it on us last year. So getting revenge of that, and then his comment after just signified why I dislike that guy. He is just a loser. So there's many haters.
That's a loser comment that he made after earlier in the week saying that it wouldn't be any different than playing at Vanderbilt. Really?
Yeah.
They have 20,000 seat stadium.
Yeah, and it looks like a construction site. We have 100,000 people that have been there for 6 hours.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Shit, ours is a construction site right now too. All the damn fences and barriers. Lord have mercy on over that crap.
Just wait till it's done though. It'll pay off. It'll be beautiful. So Brett has nominated Spencer Rattler.
Yep.
I text you all these. So I always have like my own nominees and then I pick one. But these will fall short. The Cubs being eliminated from the playoffs. Just a total choke job. I didn't even bother looking up what their record was over the last 3 or 4 weeks, but it's pitiful. Not including the Braves series where they got swept in dramatic fashion in 2 games. But this total choke job. Also, I nominated myself the lady that sat in front of me and Big Montana and Day Day last night. I went and bought a Coke at halftime because my throat was hurting, and it tasted terrible. It wasn't flat like Big Montana said his was flat a couple weeks ago. It wasn't flat; it just tasted awful. And I kept saying, "God, I could really use a Dr. Pepper right now." I was like, "I love Dr. Pepper," and the lady said, "Well, they have it," and I was like, "Lady, I've been coming to football games here for 30-something years. They do not have Dr. Pepper on tap here." We were leaving the stadium and went by a concession stand in Bowling Point. He said, "There's Dr. Pepper." There was no Dr. Pepper on any of the fountain machines.
So
What she
here's
was
the deal.
talking about.
I will say this. So last week, Griffin wanted a Powerade, and we went to one of the newer, nicer concessions. They had Powerade on tap there. So maybe there
On
is
tap?
like one. Well, like
shit.
fountain or
Wow.
whatever. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
His
I love
souvenir,
Fountain Powerade.
Yeah, it is good.
his souvenir cup was Fountain Powerade.
Oh, that might be a game changer in the middle of a game after tailgating all day.
Yeah.
Maybe there's like one concession stand that has more, but on like the regular ones, it's Coke, Diet Coke, Sprite, Orange Fanta, and maybe Coke Zero, if I can remember correctly.
It's like a menu, Neyland Stadium menu hack.
Yeah.
If I were to sneak in an airplane bottle, that would probably be my mix of choice. Then that's not really my style, but Powerade would probably be my mix of choice out of those. That's a good news. Good news.
Yeah. I didn't get that either because I was like, oh crap, they got Fountain Powerade. Like I hadn't seen it ever, but they did because he asked for it.
My hater and loser of the week. This is there's a lot of people hate this guy. Is the Vols picks guy on Twitter, Harbin. You've seen him. Big Montana and Brett have seen him.
Terrible.
So this guy, I argue with him back and forth. He's an idiot, whoever he is.
You
And
give
who
him-
knows? I don't know if he's really being serious or not, but I think he really hates Josh Heupel. And I think a lot of people there for a while thought it was Jeremy Pruitt's burner account. But he talked all 2 weeks ago that UTSA was going to upset the Vols. Well, Tennessee blew him out. And so I took a screenshot of his post saying UTSA would upset the Vols. He responded, if they had started the third string guy, it would have been a game. He's always about these if scenarios. Then he said the real butt whipping is going to be Saturday, talking about South Carolina. So I screenshotted that and posted it. He hasn't tweeted in days. He's vanished. And then I had a bunch of comments from people like piling on this dude. So if you ever get a chance, his handle is at Vols Pix, Pix, Vols Pix. I don't know what he started out as, but he was supposedly a Tennessee fan, but now he hates Tennessee, and his account's supposed to be geared toward the SEC, but he really only tweets hate about Tennessee constantly. They're recruiting. If this would have happened, they would have lost the game. If this flag wasn't thrown, Alabama would have beaten. It's always he does these mental gymnastics in his head to try to say, well, if this would have happened, Tennessee wouldn't have won, so they got lucky. That guy is a total and complete hater and loser.
Hey.
So that's my nominee.
If my aunt had a sack on her, she'd be my uncle.
Heard that.
Saying.
It's 2023. That could be your aunt or your uncle.
Yeah.
You get
True.
the choice now, Harb.
Well, they wasn't raised in 2023, so it's aunt or uncle.
But still, they could still change. You never know.
Don't you start it. Don't you start it soon.
Harbin, who's your hater and loser of the week nominee?
So, as we always say, there are many haters and losers out there, and there
Amen.
dozens and dozens of good candidates. But I'm not going to go for one person. In fact, for the second time in about a month and a half, I'm going to go on a global scale.
I knew it.
For a nation of people. My hater and loser of the week is the United States of America.
What?
And no, we didn't get in some chicken shit war and accidentally bomb on somebody. It's actually quite the opposite. We let 47 countries get together and bring together 12 guys and gang up on us and whip our ass on the golf course in Italy this weekend.
Sad.
I could go for 2 hours on this, so I'll condense it. We didn't send our best troops to this war.
Nope.
In my opinion, a few of the last spots on the team were political. I'm a big Justin Thomas fan. I'll preface by saying that I love Justin Thomas. I finally came around on him. I forgave him for being a Bammer. I like Justin Thomas, but the boy couldn't break 75 from the blue tees at Ruggles this summer. And Zach Johnson says, "Oh yeah, we need to bring him to Italy because he's buddies with the guys coming. He'll be great for the pairings." What happened? Him and his butt buddy Jordan Spieth went 0-2 in the two matches that they played together. How you doing? We didn't win. We won 1 out of 8 on Friday. And putting that in football terms, that's like getting beat 49-3. Like, you got your ass whipped. Considering out of the 12 guys that we took, official world golf rankings, probably 9 of them are probably in the top 20. That's bad. You can't do it. Zach Johnson's a hater and a loser. I thought some of the decisions that he made throughout the week, even after the befuddlement of putting his pride aside and taking guys like Dustin Johnson or Bryson DeChambeau, and even if you hate Liv, Keegan Bradley fully deserved a spot on that team. A lot of people hate Keegan Bradley, but that dude cares and he earned a spot this year. And he didn't get it because he's not part of the boys club. And he even acknowledged that. You can find the interview. It's aggravating.
That's the problem, Harb, with all this live and PGA Tour stuff. I just actually, while we were on our little break, but recording here tonight, I found a tweet. I sent it to some of the other guys we play golf with, but the tweet says Zach Johnson's captain's picks went 4-12-4 this week. So that was 4 wins, 12 losses, 4 ties. It goes on to say Bryson DeChambeau was not picked. Dustin Johnson, who went 5-0 in the last Ryder Cup, was not picked. I don't like this guy, but he always plays well in this event. Patrick Reed. There's a reason they call him Captain America. He wasn't picked.
Guy.
Taylor Gooch has won 3 times on foreign soil, not considered. And like you said, Keegan Bradley was left home. And then it goes on to say Justin Thomas got more playing time than Brooks Koepka. How can Justin Thomas play more than Brooks Koepka?
It's insane to me. Now, Brooks Koepka did not play good this weekend. So I'm not going to sit here and be a live guy. Brooks Koepka played like shit this weekend, which outside of probably Sam Burns, Max Homa, and as much as I hate to say it, Patrick Cantley, out of those 3, nobody played good. Scotty Scheffler was a no-show. He's arguably the best player in the world. What did he do? You pair him and Brooks Koepka up together, and they got Stephen Ames. They got beat 9-7.
Well, you had Scheffler could have redeemed himself here on Sunday, and he was 1 up going into 18 and ended up losing the hole and ended up having the match with Rahm. And then Homa, same thing. He was up 1 on, who was he playing? Rose?
I think so.
And he was 1 up going to 18 and caught an unlucky break, had to play take an unplayable, and ended up losing the hole. And that was 2 full points they lost out on that could have swung things because the Americans I know we were in a big hole. It was going to be unlikely, but it could have changed things if those two won a match, but it's just Europe when you're overseas. My uncle's buddy John tweeted or texted us. It's like Tennessee going to Florida and playing. It really is. When the United States goes overseas to play Europe in the Ryder Cup, it's like a mental thing.
Which also, Marco Simeon, hey, Big Montana, you can stay asleep. I don't care. That's, but Marco Simeon and the Europeans did a good job of setting it up in the Europeans' advantage. All the par fours were either super long or drivable because the Americans are way better wedge players than the Europeans, and the Europeans are straighter drivers. But you can throw all that out the window. We didn't send our best foot forward, and it felt like only 3 guys gave a shit out there. And Montana, you can fall asleep. That's fine. I don't care. I'm a patriot. Now, I don't know if you are or not, but I'm a patriot. We could go underwater basket weaving against somebody overseas, and I'd want us to win. And then the whole thing with Patrick Cantley not wearing a hat because they don't get paid to play in the Ryder Cup, that burnt my ass.
Well, they don't know if that's true or not.
Well, he's
That's all rumors.
Allow the Netflix cameras for full swing in the U.S. locker room. He said, I don't want y'all in there.
Did you see the picture of him and it was Rom and somebody on the first tee, and they're like arm around each other, and then Cantlay sitting over there all drooped over, and this looked like he was like, God, I don't want to be here.
But y'all give him a pass because after Saturday afternoon, he played lights out. And then they all started waving their caps, like messing with him. But then, like, it was kind of cool, but kind of chicken shit. Like, nobody wore a hat on Sunday.
I know Scheffler did.
Well, maybe he did. I wouldn't know.
Scheffler had a hat on, and Burns had a hat on, and Koepka had a hat on.
But I'm a wrap.
I had a hat on. I had a hat on Saturday.
I wore a hat yesterday. I mean, I don't know.
I got one on tonight.
I hate losing to Europe in the Ryder Cup. I hate when America loses in anything outside of perhaps women's soccer, but that's for another debate.
Well, let's move on. Let's move on, Harbin. I think you made your point. The United States choked, didn't they?
Yes.
Big Montana. I want to keep Big Montana awake here. Who's your hater and loser of the week?
I don't even know if I can pronounce this guy's name. My biggest hater and loser of the week is John Sciambi. Am I saying his name right, niece?
Sciambi.
Whatever. He's not even important to remember.
Former Braves announcer.
That's fine, but he's dead to me now. He wasn't able to sleep this week after he was being forced to witness the shocking sequence in Atlanta. After Ronald Acuna Jr. became the first player in Major League history to hit 40 home runs and steal 70 bases in a season, the game was paused for probably 90 seconds so he could collect the historic base and take a moment to be recognized by the home crowd. By the home crowd. The home crowd in Atlanta, Georgia, where he actually plays his home games at, in Atlanta, for his achievement. This was akin to him taking off his pants and flashing the crowd to hear the Cubs booth tell it. Total loser, history made in the MLB, and the guy picked up the base to celebrate, and his little rant took longer than what it did for Acuna to celebrate. Now, I know we've all watched sports. I remember Mark McGwire, the home run trots, and Sammy Sosa holding his bat up and running around the bases, and Mark McGwire picking up his fat son. I remember Peyton Manning, when he got his touchdown records, they were, throwing the ball away from him. And same with Drew Brees and everybody else. Now, I know some of y'all might be falling asleep because, your team's not going to make the playoffs this year. But I just thought it was total bogus because it was history. So That's my hater and loser of the week.
Do you think they should have played a video montage in the 10th inning of a tie ball game?
Well, buddy, here's the deal.
That was my thing with it.
When
Didn't
I'm
they
at
do that the
my
next
house,
game?
when I'm at my house, I do whatever I want to. If I want to go piss in the kitchen sink because the bathroom's tied up, I'll piss in the kitchen sink. So play the damn thing.
But I thought we were trying to speed up the game.
Now, listen,
Where's the pitch clock at?
I'm trying to celebrate.
This is the first time ever. I agree. Give him his flowers.
And they did.
90 seconds.
If you listen to the broadcast, they did say it was, quote, hell of an achievement. They were just aggravated because it was 5-5, bottom of the 10th, and the Cubs were pitchers and players are just standing around while this is going on, and it's obviously it was a critical game for them. And I didn't mind him picking up the base and changing it out because it's probably needs to be taken out. I think what got them was they were playing a video montage on the screen while all this was going on. And from what I read, it lasted 2 minutes and 20 seconds. So
I honestly, I was watching the game and I didn't see the video montage. I just saw him switch out the base.
Well, they said it was just something on the video board. It wasn't on TV.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, whatever.
I didn't have a problem with them celebrating that right there. I just thought it took too long. Harbin, you have your hand raised.
I have a question and a statement. I'm gonna start with a statement. The reason I fell asleep during that talking about the Braves is I saw this episode 30 years ago. It aired at the same time as Seinfeld. It was a Braves, perhaps, dynasty that won a shitty division, only won one big one. Is what it is.
Well, the way sports works is we play in the present, not in the past.
Second question, you're mad that they didn't allow a video montage during the game, but you were also the one that raised hell.
I wasn't mad they didn't do it. I said that they should have done it.
Yep.
You raised hell when LeBron James broke the all-time scoring record that had been set for over 40 years. They stopped and took pictures during a regular season NBA game. You're the same guy that's mad at that because a guy stole 70 bases. The man scored 38,000 points, and you're mad that they stopped the game for a picture. But you want a video montage and extra innings?
I don't remember being that mad about it, but I could have been. Listen, Hart, I'm a hypocrite. I am. I'm a damn hypocrite, buddy. Listen, this is my team. I'm just like you with golf and wedges and country and patriotism and all that shit. Listen, if my sandwich is a little bit dirty, I'm pissed off about it, buddy. I'm with you. But whatever. I hate LeBron.
That's what I was waiting for.
Well, I see both sides of it, but that's the excellent candidates for hater and loser of the week.
Yes,
we'll put that up.
Absolutely.
Hey, before we go here, I'm running up against it here, Harbin.
How much time do we have?
We have 4 minutes, 4:20.
I've got a question.
All right, go ahead.
Jacob Warren, is that his name? Or tight end?
Yes.
Scored a touchdown, and somebody around us, he's from Farragut, correct?
Yes.
Somebody around us said that there was somewhere that was going to have 87-cent wings.
Craven
Wings. When is that?
I don't know, but I've seen him on ads for Craven
I
wings.
need some of those. So I need to figure that out. See if we can put that out on the Twitter.
I'll have to look that one up.
I don't need to miss 87-cent wings.
Harbin, we have another comment on Spotify for you. This is from user Blake Talley. Ooh, Blake Talley.
Of course.
Tally says, Harb shaved that beard off so he can play from the ladies' tee for our matchup. Man.
Yeah, you didn't make the smart decision on shaving that beard.
But let me tell Mr. Tally something. And I'll refer to him as Mr. because I understand he got a little upset when I called him a kid. called him a
That's great.
I called him a kid because he found his way into a relay race of some sort for kids ages of 6 to 12.
The
No.
chicken run, the chicken race.
Yeah, he was in a chicken race with 9-year-olds, and nobody pointed him out because nobody can see his goatee from 4 feet away. So if you want to talk about facial hair, that's one thing. But Miss Sally, you might need to stay in your lane here.
Mr. Tally is worm.
Oh, yes. I was worm. Well,
Allie's playing from the junior tees
yeah.
with that goatee.
yeah.
Harb
He's at the 150 marker every hole.
Harb shaved that beard off so he could try and get him a lady there at the tailgates.
He was macking hard last night.
He
I was proud of
wasn't
him.
he?
Listen, I went and talked to the girl's dad, and I said, "Look, that's the guy you want right there."
I can promise you, her father did not remember that conversation.
No, he didn't.
You gotta open up a bank account first with him, Harbin. Then you can go after.
Hey, listen.
What about your photo session, Nice? Tell the folks about your.
Very, very quickly, I took 5,000 photos of our friend Chassis, and I ended up turning into Peter Venkman in Ghostbusters 2.
You took one of me.
Yeah, I took one of you.
All I heard was click, click, click.
But yeah, Chassis pulled open her phone, and there was literally like 300 pictures on there that I had taken because I was just rapid fire. Different poses, different angles, flip the hair, put your sunglasses on, move around. It was like those Instagram husbands.
We got mine in one shot though, Nice.
Yeah, that's all you need. One shot's all you need.
The money shot.
Let's wrap this thing up. We are literally out of time, Harbin. Appreciate everybody listening this week. If you're new to the show, thanks for listening. You can find us anywhere you stream podcast, and we're on YouTube. We'll be back next week to preview the A&M game. Go Vols. For Brett, Harb, and Big Montana. This is Negative Nice, and we'll see you guys next week.
Win the damn game.
JWTDG.